All right, what's up? What's happening? What's going on? Welcome to another edition of the 411 interview. I am Dev Del Molino, aka Chicken Nugget Man, and you're checking out another obligatory 411 where we interview a special guest. We get the lowdown on them, and do that in an interview series. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know who y'all are listening to. His name is Kahlil Blu, but I'll let him say what's up. What's up?
Hi,
Hey.
hi.
Yo, what you doing on a day like today? Like when you just chilling, you don't got nothing to do all day. What are you doing?
I ain't gonna hold you. I was kind of asleep before this interview.
Are you a
Like I thought I
sleeping type?
overslept. I thought I overslept, and I thought I missed this.
No, I'm glad we did this like later on in the day. Then I'm like a real
Uh,
early get up type. Plus, I'm on the West Coast, so like I've been
yeah,
up.
I'm the same.
And really, I guess I'll just be honest and say, like, I really personally sought out this interview for us at Obligatory. A few of us were big fans of your album this year, but
Uh,
I was not only a big fan of Dog, but also a big fan of Attack of the '85, which you produce all of that. I was so
I
much
produced all of it, but like except for like 2 songs or something like that.
Oh, okay. I was under the impression that you did every song. So, with the exception of those two songs, like, did Silk produce them or somebody else or what?
If somebody else, I don't know their name, but it was like one other guy, and I was it. He did two Johns. He did the I Wanna Be what is the first song that's the intros on the project is produced by him, and there's another
Yeah, the one
song.
with the piano keys. I want to be the
Yeah,
Superbug. Man, that
yeah,
shit goes
yeah, yeah.
crazy. Okay, well, if you just turn on that album and you hit the shuffle button, more often than not, you're gonna be hearing Kahlil Blue beats and whatnot.
Mm.
About that album though, and I guess this still remains with the production. There's a lot of skits and there's a lot of kind of those diversion moments. Are those things that you included yourself? Are those things that you guys both?
That's all
That's
him.
all him.
That's all him. That's all him. He does
so,
that stuff.
so we mostly just hear you on the production alone.
Yeah, the skits is like he just has a whole bunch of documentaries and a whole bunch of things that he likes, and he'll just like record. He'll like just jot them down and record them, and then put them on the album when it's time to like really finish the album. Cause the way he does albums is crazy. He'll he'll take about like a month, maybe 2 months to write the album, but he'll bust an album out all in like 2 days as far as recording. He'll do it in
Interesting.
2 days straight. Like he'll record a song. All right, next one, record it. Next one until he finishes it, and then the engineer mixes it later on. But he like does most of the projects in like a day, 2 days.
That's very interesting. Um, but the production on that album though does like it's pretty different from what you hear on Dog. Did you do that just because it was a different album, different artists, or are you normally
No,
making stuff?
it was just what he wanted. That's what he wanted to make,
Yeah,
and I knew how to make it because like I come from it. Like I come from like the loops and the samples and all that. Like I think that was my starting point for like
mm-hmm.
making beats.
Mm-hmm.
So like he wanted it and I could make it, and I was like, cool, let's do it.
Have you had much practice collaborating through beats before that?
Mm-mm, not really. I guess this was collaborating because this was like the first time where like as a producer I just listened to what he was asking me for instead of giving him what I think he would sound cool on. Like
Yeah,
on his other projects, I was sending him beats that I think he would sound cool on, but on this one, I was like actually like trying to figure out what he wanted
mm.
and how he wanted to get his point across the best way. Because like being a producer, like I learned how to be a producer through doing that because it's like there's a difference when like you're sending someone a beat that you think that they would sound tight on versus like trying to get them to just be the best that they can possibly be.
Mm. So it sounds like you learned a lot through that project in terms of like
Mm-hmm.
maximizing another artist then
Mm-hmm.
and what they could get. Yeah, man, I really can't say enough, and I don't want to just have to sit here and talk about that album and Silk and all that, but That album is really really fantastic, and
Thank
I
you,
could
thank
see
you.
where, and a lot of it does come from the production. Like, Silk kind of did what I've always heard him doing, and I thought with these beats, that was really what drove this home. To really
I
be
don't,
in.
I don't think I don't think like, but people haven't heard him like that before though. Before it was like, because he can rap his ass off, he can flow,
Absolutely
but like the way he was just tying words together and telling stories on this one was like some shit that he didn't really do. I don't think
interesting.
people really like knew he could do
Uh huh.
in that way, which is why like Attack 85 is so crazy.
Yeah, y'all both leveled up on it. That's awesome. That's really fucking awesome. But Dog released also this year, and that was another project that I recall. Well, really, I guess I found out about you through 85, I guess, and so
Mm-hmm.
then Dog comes like shortly thereafter, and getting to hear that was cool because I felt like I learned a lot more about you personally, and I feel like this was a project that you really got to put yourself into. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel this album did in terms of just like for you personally, like elevating and improving?
You want my honest opinion, or you want
I
me to be
always,
like,
bro, always I do.
my 100% honest opinion is, personally, I think like this project is one of the best projects of last year. I think there wasn't too many projects that were better than that project last year besides 85 and a few other people. And especially in the rap category last year, we didn't get too much music that was like vastly creative or vastly different or like huge or someone who's really trying to like
Mm.
really do something. Like you didn't get that with Cardi. I mean, you got that.
Cardi
Uzi's album
wasn't
was
in my
really
top.
really good.
No.
Uzi's album was really really good,
Yeah.
but you didn't get it with Cardi's. Cardi's album has really good points and some really 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 bad points.
Yeah, it's
But
got
it
some
wasn't
palate cleansers
someone.
for sure.
It wasn't like from 1 to 20 just hard and different sounds.
Yeah.
So I felt like, as far as like when they have the end of the year conversations and they're talking about who's doing the blah 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 blah, I was like, I was kind of disappointed.
You
But
you were disappointed that you didn't see your name come up more.
yeah, but I'll say this: this is the first time in my life that like I've been able to do things off of music, and I've been able to enjoy life in a way that I couldn't have enjoyed life a year ago or a year before. It's because people actually loved my music and have actually welcomed me in and like given me something I didn't have a year ago. And I'm so
Damn.
appreciative of it. Like I'm so appreciative. Like a few years ago, like I would only buy one pair of shoes because that's all I could afford to get.
Uh
And
huh.
this is like the first year where I could get an Xbox, and I had a bunch like it's
Yeah.
little tiny things like
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
it's like it just means the world to me because it's like it's not me. Like I didn't go play them songs 1,000 some odd
Uh huh.
times. It was everyone else. There's people that believed in me, which is like,
And
which is
and what was your
yeah.
attitude at that time? Like when things weren't as poppin', let's say. What was your attitude at that time? Like, I'm going to get to this space, or were you really unsure?
Um, I think I'm still unsure,
Uh huh.
but I don't. I think I'm going in the right direction. If that makes anything possible, I'm still kind of unsure. I don't. I don't know. This thing is like music. The music business is a very tricky thing that I'm learning. But mm, before this, I don't think I thought about it much. Before this, I was just helping everyone else out, do their thing
Mm.
before I put out my project.
That's beautiful, man. Well, first of all, congratulations that,
Thank
despite,
you.
let's say, 2020 being, the year that it was, that for
Yeah,
you
like the fact
personally, there was that bright spot.
yeah.
That's an amazing thing. Um, Even more glad that I found out about this album and found out about you through it. And I agree, man. Like it was, I had albums like in the hip hop category. I had albums like um Descendants of Cain, and West Side Gun, Pray for Paris, like at the top of my list. But your album also made my list for similar reasons, that in a shorter amount of time, but with a lot of content, you packed out these songs. And it's like a relentless effort. Like you're going from one sound to the next, and you can kind of take this influence here and this sound there and this thing that you might have heard in one place here, but it kind of all falls under this indie sound that you have, and it all kind of just it all kind of melds into a personal thing. I don't feel like I'm hearing you biting stuff. I feel like I'm hearing you just pulling stuff and making it your own. And it's a nice just like barrage of songs. Everything kind of hits on a different note from one to the next. You kind of don't know what you get. Pace, style, it all kind of you know. And then you just throw shit in there too. Like you're willing to just like throw random shit in there, or literally slow the song down or pitch it, or you know, like just tweak it after you've done the song. But I don't know, man. I really wanted to come in here and ask you more about your creative process through that project. And I mean, you said you were able to level up yourself in terms of doing 85, but for Dog, you know, what ways do you feel like you kind of leveled up?
I think for Dog, I wrote really good hooks.
Yes, you did.
Really good
Yeah, you
hooks.
did.
Like I wrote really good hooks consistently.
Yeah.
Um
I can remember, so like they're all like quotable, chantable, like kind of stick in your head.
Yeah.
There's like a dozen of them that are like that.
I wrote really good hooks, and I think I became a better producer in the aspect of like I learned what I was good at, but then I learned what I liked more versus what I was good at. It like making 808s boom, and it's very easy, but like the songs that I enjoyed are the songs like Brand New and Land, where they're pop songs. Like they're not really rap songs. They're pop songs, and like they kind of have like this indie rock feeling in them, and the melody is there, and there's just like it's just they're amazing songs. They feel really really good. So I learned how to do that. Like, and then I also was like, there's certain points where on the album where you have like Hold Tight, or you have like a Runway Talk, or certain songs where like I'm just spazzing on the verse, just going crazy. Like it's like Rex is one of those songs where I'm just spazzing on the verse. Like I feel like I improved on my ability to just be able to be aggressive when it comes to just rapping and shit. Because like to me, like I don't like it's very hard. Like it's very hard to rap and have that shit be catchy and have that shit mean something at the same time. Because like I think a lot of people just hear the beats because it's an 808, but they don't literally be listening to what I be saying, because I have a certain flow and cadence that like it just hides what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
but,
and
like,
a lot of times you kind of going quickly in the beat as well.
Yeah, and like you would have to read what I'm saying to understand like, oh, this doesn't sound as cool as it sounds. Like,
yeah, my mind is in interview mode right now, so like I can't pull up the choruses out of my head, but like yes, songs like Runway Talk and Brand New and UFO and Chewing Gum, and even when it's like Melwood and you're not like you didn't make a hook, but like you got something at the beginning of that song that'll just like play in my head while I'm not listening to it. I can always that shit. Yes.
Yeah,
I can hear that anywhere I'm going, and then also
I knew that was a great song because I was at this show and they were DJing, and I played that instrumental, and I saw everyone's face change, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
This does something to people.
This was like right before COVID. Like right before COVID happened, because if COVID didn't happen, I don't think that album would have came out this year.
Why?
Because I was with a friend. All year I had been with a friend, Medhane, and he had been like doing shows, and I had been playing his sets, And so I wasn't really getting a chance to do my music. I was just doing
Ah,
his thing for him. And then when COVID hit and we were forced to stay home, that's when I really got to dig in, because I had recorded some of the songs a year before. Like I had recorded like Brand New the year before. I had
uh,
recorded Runway Talk the year before that, around the summertime.
okay,
I recorded a lot of songs, but they weren't finished yet.
okay,
So like Runway Talk there's like 7 versions of Runway Talk.
interesting. Okay, I didn't know
And
that you were. I didn't know that you were in DJ mode basically. Then
yeah,
before COVID
yeah,
struck.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We're
So
going to Minneapolis. We're all over
were
the
you
place
in the
before
middle
COVID
of
happened.
touring when you had to stop, or were
We
you?
weren't really touring, but he was just, because like,
There was usually a show.
yeah, there was
Yeah.
usually a show in the city, and then the last shows we were gonna do, we're gonna be in South by Southwest, and then once that was canceled, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna work on this
I'm
music.
gonna
I
just
don't even, I
work
don't,
on my
yeah,
own shit.
yeah, I'm gonna just work and see what happens.
Okay, so
And,
you were one of the many people who just really had to adapt and kind of switch lanes a little bit
mm-hmm,
in 2020. That's really
mm-hmm,
interesting to me because yeah, I think you're already saying like what this year and this album had kind of done for you,
mm-hmm,
despite what you had planned,
mm-hmm.
um, and that you were able to make something out of it. That's really incredible. That kind of answers one of the questions I was gonna ask, basically, like what you expected to get out of 2020 and what you actually got.
I didn't, to be honest, like what I didn't expect to get what I got out of 2020. It's crazy how COVID made me hunker down and focus, really, really focus, because I felt like I kind of had something to prove, because I'm mostly known as a producer. Like
Mm-hmm.
regardless if I have project outs or I have songs that have been out before, like I'm mostly known as the producer, and I just wanted to be like, nah, I do this. Like only reason I started producing is because like I couldn't get no beats. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't get a
Mm.
Pharrell beat. I couldn't get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I couldn't
yeah.
get none of those kind of beats. Like so I had to teach myself how to do it. And so like I just felt like after teaching myself how to do it, everyone just thought I was just a producer, and it's fine, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine to be that. But I feel like I just want to do so much more. And then now, like now that Dog is out, I want to do more. I've always wanted to do more than the genre that I'm in, but like now I think I have like the chance to push outside of like just the rap genre or
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah.
genre
I was gonna ask. So then, do you feel like, yeah, moving forward, you have the tools and the intention to kind of do what you said to sort of push your own boundaries more,
is.
like literally outside of hip hop, or what do you mean by that?
Literally outside of hip hop. Like I literally want to make albums that have like zero to no rapping on it. But you know what I'm saying? Just like I want to do like straight like grunge albums and like pop albums and stuff like that. Like because I just it's more like it's just I like the challenge. Like
Yeah.
it's just a whole different learning curve, and there's a whole different like just vibe. And then but there's also like a background that I have in rap and hip hop, especially with like the drums and the loops. Like I understand drums in such a crazy way that like I could damn near remake any drums I hear on the song.
And that's
But like,
universal as fuck. Like
yeah,
just percussion in general, right? And in
yeah,
terms of going to other forms of
yeah,
music.
and because rap is so much like it's really it's a drum heavy genre. It's just like when I hear music, I hear drums first. It's hard for me to like I listen to music like classical music is one of those like genres that don't have much drums. They might have percussion, like,
Sure. Yeah.
but it doesn't have many drums. But like every pop has drums, rock has drums.
Yep.
Every form of rock has drums.
Yeah.
There's no rock song without drums,
Yep.
whether they be like in the pocket or like mad rides and crashes and shit. But
Yeah.
like, and fuck music has like, you just got to start with the drums. Like,
Yeah, any like any world music, any reggaeton or any
yeah,
that shit is
like
driven by the drums,
by
like funk
drums,
is, like
yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
feel like that's the cheat code. Like because I understand drums, like that's the cheat code for making just fire shit.
that's really fire. Um, so what songs do you feel like would be best in a concert setting? Off Dog, or I mean really any of your songs, but like
I feel like damn near all the songs on Dog Alive will go crazy.
Yeah, you think you would just run your album? You think you would just basically run your album if you were doing shows right now?
I love Chewing Gum. Chewing Gum would sound
Chewing Gum
bass
is the
on Chewing
shit.
Gum.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like that's what I'm
that's probably
for.
like my favorite hook on there.
Live.
Yeah, man, yeah. I really, really did enjoy that project. And I agree with you that not many other artists kind of put themselves as many places as you did with it. I appreciated that about it. But, yeah, man, I don't know. Do you have any, like, personal goals for 2021 in terms of, like, I mean, what do you like to do outside of music?
I like to play video games.
Are you playing one right now? Are you working on one right now?
Not right now. I'm on a break from the video games, but like I was messing with Cyberpunk. Even though people were shitting on Cyberpunk, I was messing with that Cyberpunk. I do the normal shit like play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But that's really it. And then like if I'm not doing that, I'm probably just like designing like clothes, screen printing and stuff like that. And just drawing, relaxing. I listen to a lot of music. Like I know that sounds crazy, but I listen to a lot of I listen to music almost every hour of the day, all day. I listen to music. Like I'm
we kind of well, I wouldn't even say I do a whole music podcast and shit. I wouldn't even say I listen to music all day every day, but we kind of have that in common, man. Like the day just kind of revolves around it.
Yeah.
In a lot of respects. I was just talking to another artist, and they were telling me that their stream money is doing okay, and that they're able to kind of support themselves off the streaming money, but that they also are selling their beats. And so, what ways are you making the money come in? Is it just through streams? Or are you trying to do things outside of the streams to live?
I just use the streaming bread to make clothes, and I sell clothes. That's how I get most of my money. Like the vinyls and the CDs are like I make a decent amount of change. Like it's cool. I make a lot more money than I was making a year ago. But like it's good money. But I feel like I put it into merch, and then I get most of my money through that. Like
so you didn't go right for the Xbox when you got some streaming money. You put it back into something that you would be able to then sell again, make a little bit more money.
No, when I did that, I bought the Xbox right away. I have this I lived at home with my parents, so I felt like when I was younger, I felt like if they caught me playing the game, that means I was being lazy and I wasn't doing something. So I probably shouldn't be on the game. So I didn't have a system after Xbox 360. I didn't have one for such a long time. So as soon as I felt like I did something important and I felt like it was worthy of like, oh, I can kind of relax right now.
Yeah.
And then I bought it.
No, I absolutely appreciate and understand that. But so no, you were able to still kind of like, it's mostly been through the normal things, right? Putting out a vinyl, putting out some merch. I actually bought a shirt from you for a friend, from my podcast co-host who also liked the album. I bought the one with the dog, with just the dog on it. So yeah, but I just think that's important because I mean, usually a lot of people can't just do the streaming money. It feels like. Or
I think I'm gonna get there though. I think I'm gonna get there, but it's hard. The streaming, like, and that's another thing. I think that a lot of people don't really understand how streaming works, or like what the numbers equate to. Because it's like even like when I see bigger artists, and I think about the fact that like they aren't making that much money. Even like say they have like 1 million streams, and if you have 1 million streams and you're signed to a label. You have to split up. Yeah. That's not a lot. 1 million streams is not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like it's not a lot of money, especially if you're an adult and you have to pay rent and you have all these things that you have to do with life. 1 million streams isn't much.
Is it okay money though if you are like in your situation independent?
Yeah.
And you're clocking all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like it's a million streams is harder for independent artists than it is for someone who's signed. So like,
Yeah, because these apps use
hmm
the labels like
yeah.
for all the playlisting and all this stuff.
But
Yeah.
like how I look at it now is like even with major artists, we're kind of on the same field because they have to split that so many
Yeah.
ways. Because like of course like they're signed, but they're initially like they're paying for services. Like initially like
Mhm.
advertisements, other things are just services that labels can offer you.
Mhm.
So but they need their money. So they take their money from you. But it's like it's just a million streams ain't shit. And like Spotify paying you a percent of a cent
Mhm.
is crazy. I
And
think you
then
need like
and then
150 streams
dividing
for a
that amongst
thousand
your record
dollars,
label. Yeah. A cent of a
something like
cent,
that.
and then cut that in, you know, two, three,
Mm-hmm.
four, or
Yeah.
whatever. Did you ever have you always had the mindset of I'm going to be an independent artist and I'm gonna
No, I
not play
didn't.
that game? Or
I didn't.
okay.
I just never got signed. So I was like, oh,
Luckily.
never got signed. So I was like, a lot of things I've done, especially producing, I've done a necessity because I couldn't like there was no option for me, so I just had to make the option.
Mhm.
Like I had to just do it myself because no one else was going to do it for me. So like that's why I'm independent. I mean, in learning, like, because this is a whole like this is a learning process. Being an independent artist is such a learning process because you begin to learn how things work. Like how you thought they worked is not how they actually are working.
Mm.
When you get into the business of like how everything works and how the streams work and how you get paid and so and so and so and so,
Mm.
it's just a different ball game than what you think coming into it. But once you learn it, you learn it.
Mhm. Is there anything that comes to mind, like in saying that, like things that maybe you just had wrong going into and you had to learn?
I thought, yo, as soon as you get on the blogs, you gonna get signed. I thought like, I really thought like any form of notoriety allowed you to be on, basically. Like,
Yeah.
and it is the case for some people, but it's not the case for everyone.
Okay.
Some people get it that way, and some people just get it through hard work. And I guess I was just one of those people that had just got to do it through hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, you see that in the landscape of music now. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about doing it, and then there's this big dynamic between like the rise in more independent artists, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's still being a lot of signed artists.
Mm-hmm.
But um yeah, people are just getting it different ways. You see people who are getting a lot of streams but they're not really making a lot of money. You see people who get,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a certain amount of streams, but the way they turn it into the next venture and the next venture, like
Mm-hmm.
they're really living good. They living in better
Mm-hmm.
houses than some of these people that are with
Yeah.
songs on the
So it's
radio
definitely
or
about like it's definitely about what you do. You know what I'm saying? With what the circumstances are given to you. It's definitely about that more than anything else. So like if you're able to capitalize off like any good thing that happens to you and you're able to like essentially like if they say you give someone an inch and they take a mile, if you're able to do that with a small amount of like good things that happen to you, you're gonna go far.
wow. I love that quote or just what you
Mm-hmm.
said there. Um yeah, really making the most of every little opportunity because for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, it's little breaks here and there. It's like, oh, I got to work with this person or in
Mm-hmm.
this situation or
Mm-hmm.
at this place and I got this opportunity here and it like sometimes it feels like, oh, this is bigger than anything I've done before, so this is like a really big
Yeah.
deal. This is gonna take me a while, but sometimes it, you know, it's not the end all be all. It's still
Mm-hmm.
more work to be done after the fact. And you,
That's another thing. Everything is not the end all be like I thought certain things were the end all be all of like, yo, this is gonna be it. But it's like, no, you just it's more so like, yeah, you did something cool. Now you just keep doing cool stuff. Just keep going.
yeah.
It's
Just
not this
keep
one thing
going.
is I don't feel like I mean for some people it is the case that they do some this one thing and it's like, oh my God, and then whatever happens after it.
Mhm.
But in my respect, it's just like, you know, you did something cool. That's cool. And now you let those things, all those things have their lifespan and they have their gestation period, which in which they are the most impactful. And then once you feel that's over, then you get on with your life and you do something else.
Yeah. And that shit is moving even quicker than ever now in this age where, like, specifically with music, you know, the cycle, the hip hop cycle, or just the music cycle in general, it's moving really, really fast. And, you know, people gotta feel like, I mean, it depends on your situation. Again, it depends on how you're going about things. But some people feel like, or some people do have to, like, release frequently and move with the times and whatnot. And that's difficult. That's really difficult. But if I remember correctly, I thought I saw you say that you didn't want to drop music in 2021. You sticking to that?
There's a few songs that are set to release to come out this year, but I don't think I'm gonna put out anything.
Is
like
that is
anything
that
that I
because
make this year is not coming out this year.
okay, so
I'm relaxing.
This is a creating period, at least relaxing and creating period. Then
I guess.
Well, I mean, 2020 was a really great year for you. So I mean, I feel like it's only right. It's only right to do that. But I'm
trying to force people to sit with what I've presented, and I don't want to be one of those people who just like keeps putting stuff. Like, there's a point where, like, I don't think that me doing music should be for anyone but me, because if I feel like I'm forcing myself to put out something for someone else, it's just not gonna be good.
Yeah,
or it's good, or like it's gonna be here and then gone type time. So I just don't feel like I should have to be always like, yo, let me figure out how to put this single out, because, like, to be honest, like, sometimes, like, I don't be having nothing to say. Like, most of, like, we also don't live in a world where you don't live in a world anymore where people are calculated about the things that they say.
Yeah,
it's like they just fly off the handle, or like they just fly out the mouth most of the time.
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like whatever I have to say has to be important, regardless of how it's presented.
Look, most people that I feel are making really good music right now, there are the types who are starting to make a lot of quality and quantity, and I find that kind of crazy. They're figuring out how to do that, but I feel like a lot of artists making really, really good music, like timeless music, you know, stuff that just isn't tied to the moment, like you said. You know, those people don't really seem to have a hard time going a year without dropping an album, going 2 years, 3 years, and people, you know,
like
Lil
Frank,
Uzi
like Blonde
and Frank,
is so old now.
Yeah, it's like if you make something,
listen to it like it just came out though.
Yeah. Yeah, and it still sounds fresh. It still sounds, you know, so like if you really making something that good, people will wait. People will definitely wait. You know, like, I don't know, there's just some things that stick around. We still talk about Bobby Shmurda like every month. You know, like, there's just some things that for one reason or another.
A week ago.
Yeah, I know. It was more than a week ago now. But I feel like if you're doing what you said and you're making something that's not just for the person who's here right now, and you're making something with a larger plan, a more calculated plan, one, you will have the liberty to take time because people will wait. But two, like, it makes sense that sometimes you don't really got shit to say because you took time to really kind of say everything you needed, or to put something out that you would be really, really happy with. And that gives you some time to not have nothing to say, and then eventually down the road you know, evolve, and then the next thing comes. So I'm kind of sad though that it's not going to be a 2021 thing though.
I mean, something is coming out. It's just it wasn't recorded this year. It's really old.
Got it. Okay, I can appreciate that then. I'll take that. I appreciate that.
It's something different. I don't want anyone to like get their hopes up. I think it's something really, really different. It's really, really good, but it's different.
I mean, like I said, as long as the artist is happy with it, that's usually what I want to hear. Whether or not I like a certain number of songs is kind of like a separate point. But if I think, usually I can look at something and say, this is a well-made album, and maybe I just didn't love certain songs on it. And so far, you've been putting out great albums.
Thank you. But that's the focus of, like, I don't, like, I'm obsessed with, like, I listen to all the greats and I listen to all of their best music, and I'm obsessed with the elements that came together so that there's a reason why everyone likes this project.
Yeah.
There's a reason why
Yeah.
everyone thinks this is so good. Like, there's a reason why everyone thinks Thriller is so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why Nevermind is so good.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain elements, whatever it is, and I go all over every genre, and I just try to find, like, I listen as hard as I can possibly listen to all the greats and try to figure out, like, what it was that made they have like a bunch of albums. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jackson has a bunch of albums, but Thriller is his top selling album. He
Mm-hmm.
could never beat the record of Thriller.
Mm-hmm. And so you listen to it and you just try to digest like what aspects about it are
Yes,
so
what elements,
universal
what came
or
together. Yeah,
yeah.
what came together. And then even like on Nirvana's Nevermind, it's like that album is so crazy. Like, and Utero's cool, but it just doesn't have the melody and the pop and the crazy hooks and the guitarist that, like, Nevermind has. Like, I can
Mm-hmm.
listen to Nevermind from top to bottom. And Utero, I just pick certain songs, and that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's just a reason why all these, and like, it's just, I don't know. I really love music. Even like when I listen to like Drake's first album, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like,
Mm.
people can say whatever they want about Drake, but like, if you really want to, like, it's hard work to be as consistent as he has been across my youth into my adulthood. There's been like one popping song every single year since I was 13 years old.
From him. Yeah, he's been
From him.
constant. He's been constant. Yeah, you're
That's
right. Yeah.
hard. That's a hard thing to do.
People take that for granted.
Yeah, it's people that have one good song and they're done.
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is. I just made a top 50 rappers list of all time, and Drake was number 26. What do you think about that? Too
I
high,
think
too
he
low?
should be further than that.
You
I
think he
think
should
he
be
should be damn near number two, number one. Just, and it's not
based on
because,
the
like I said,
certain parameters? Yes, I understand exactly what you mean.
it's and like I said, it's not because he may be the best lyricist or the best rapper. It's just that consistency is key.
Yeah.
If you can do something great every single time and hit your mark every single
Cross
time,
generations too.
that, yeah, that takes talent.
Yeah.
Everyone can't do that shit, bro. Like,
Yep.
Nas cannot, as good as a rapper as Nas is, he can't do that shit. He has
Nope.
not done that shit.
No, he hasn't. I had
You know what I'm
Nas.
saying? As much as I love Big L, as much as, like, it's like they weren't good at, they were great rappers. They could out rap circles around Drake.
Yeah.
But it's like,
But
yo,
that's not
there's
everything.
a song for every year. There's a song that Drake has. Like, even when he did the Migos remix, I remember being on Vine looking at that shit like, oh, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Man, that's a throwback.
yeah.
Back when he did the Versace remix, that shit was
Yeah.
legendary. That shit was so legendary.
This is a gated community. Please get the fuck out the property.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
crazy.
He's fast. He's fast. And then to think, I mean, he's been on so many people's like first big songs too, thinking about Migos, and that's crazy. Is that something that you want like for yourself? Like, do you kind of romanticize the idea about like charting and having songs that like are on
I
Billboard
know
and
that
shit
I
like that?
will. I don't romanticize it, but I know that it's gonna happen. Like, I know there's no way that, like, if I keep going the way I'm going and like just keep trying,
Yeah.
there's no way that it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Cause some artists are like, fuck that shit entirely. It's kind of difficult because I think it's awesome for the people who get the exposure that they need out of it.
I'm not fuck that shit entirely because, like, I want to prove the point to everyone that they could do it. Like, I want to just know that I can do it. It's not, there's like, I'm competitive with music. Like, I'm really competitive. Like, I'm not competitive in much things in life, but like as far as music goes, like, I'm very competitive about music. So it's like this shit is a sport to me. Like, it's a sport. So it's like, yeah, like, I want to be able to say like, yeah, I did this and I did it my way, and
Yeah.
I wasn't copying nobody. I just was Kahlil the whole time through. So like, yeah, like, hell yeah, I wanna chart. I wanna do all that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, you sound like you know you well you yourself have said I listen to as many of the greats as possible, as often as possible, and I really just try to understand music. So I mean, you sound like someone who kind of is really young, but still really identifies with like previous eras of hip hop, the mindset. Hearing you say something
Mm-hmm.
like I'm competitive with music or rapping or just making music in general, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm it's a sport to me. Like that's such a golden era hip hop kind of mindset that they tend to
Yeah, this shit
carry.
a sport, son.
Yeah,
I'm
and
trying to be the best.
that's sort of being lost in this time or valued a little bit less by like
Mm-hmm.
future generations.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I don't. Talent wise, I think that's true. But I think we've like talent wise, I think that's it's almost gone. Like as far as the hip hop era of like who's the best, let's be competitive about like who can have the best verse on the song and so on and so on and so on. So who has the best
Mm-hmm.
track?
Who washed
Now
who? Yeah.
it's more about like who looks the best.
Who-
It is what it
yeah,
is. Like it
yeah,
is what it is. I'm not saying there's nothing really wrong with it, but it is about who looks the best now. Like it's gone from having the substance to having the look,
yeah.
which is
Cause
like it's not a bad thing. I mean,
no,
rap
yeah, I
is
don't
a
think so either.
flashy genre in general, but it's more so about that now. And I feel like things look a lot cooler than what they actually are. But I feel like in the essence, it's still there because I feel like motherfuckers are still talking about chart and going platinum and so on. So they still talk about that
Yeah,
because that's how people like measure success. Like so, it's like in the
yeah,
music industry, that's how some people measure their
yeah.
success.
Billboard,
But
Grammys, RIAA certifications, and
But like, I don't think it's gone in that essence. But I think that as far as like it being about like who could out rap who could do that, yeah, that's gone. The days that are gone, it's so gone. Like even with the music that's made, it's like yo, you can't even like battle rapping is essentially like a separate thing outside of rap and hip hop now.
yeah, it's pretty much like what it is, like the
It's
sport
yeah,
over
it's its
there. Yeah,
own thing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's its own thing. Like before, it was like that was a part of rapping. That was a part of hip hop. It's like you battle niggas. Like that's how a lot of people got they start battling. Like
yep.
so that's gone. But
Do you like those? Do you watch those? Do you keep up with battle rap?
I really don't. But I have friends who really, really like battle rap.
I
But I
hear
really don't.
I hear about it sometimes on the Joe Budden podcast, and that's pretty much like
Yeah, like you have battle rap is so separate from rap and hip hop now is that you almost have to be into battle rap to really know about it. Like you have to be into it heavily
yeah,
because it's not something that's just out there.
yeah, because it's like there are people with entire careers like based in
Yeah,
battle
just
rap,
battle rapping.
just
Never made
battle
a
rap.
record.
Yeah,
Never did nothing. They just
yeah,
battle rap.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely fun to watch, but it's also not really well. It's like it's not well.
I'm
It's not
surprised
like
like people
every
don't be fighting each other a lot at battle raps.
because
The
they be saying
stuff
some
that they
really
say to
personal
each
shit,
other.
like with no
Yeah,
beat, no beat. It's not even a good. It's not even a fun
yeah,
song. You just really just disrespecting the dude in
yeah.
front of you.
Going in. Everybody has a gun bar. All of them
Yeah,
have gun and bullet
yeah,
bars. Like that's
yeah,
all. Like
yeah, man. What you gonna do with the rest of your day today?
probably gonna go to sleep, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
Okay, word. Yeah, yeah. I mean, what's your like? Are you normally like sleeping through the day? Are you like night owl?
No,
You get up then later and then you
no,
start
I'm
doing.
early. I'm up early. No, it depends. When I'm working on music, I'm a night owl.
Okay.
Like I'm up all night. Like and I go to sleep during the day, and then I start over at night when I'm working on music.
So your sleep
But like
schedule
when
is
I'm
probably all kinds of fucked up.
yeah, but
Yeah.
when I'm not, I just go to sleep. I go to sleep at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock early. Like I'm a grandma.
I feel that. 10:30. I'll be in
Yeah,
there.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. Out. Z's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. Well, again, I appreciate you coming on here with us and enlightening us about Dog and about your experience with 85 and Silk and really just your mindset with making music. Again, I feel like I can come to appreciate your music a lot more with this information. So I appreciate you coming on. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day. sweet dreams, all that shit, bro.
Thank you.